Tomorrow, on November 16, 2024, Sinterklaas will be arriving with his helpers in Vianen, marking the start of a favorite season for Dutch children. On the night of December 5th, Sinterklaasavond or Pakjesavond, families across the Netherlands will celebrate with holiday sweets, rhymes, surprises and gifts. During these almost 3 festive weeks, there is nothing more iconic than pepernoten and kruidnootjes. I've already shared a video for making kruidnootjes before, and I will post a link to that video in the description below. But today we are making pepernoten, the slightly chewy bite-sized cousin of the kruidnootjes. Perfect for kids to find in their shoes as a surprise from Sinterklaas. These little bites are easy to make and filled with warm traditional spices. Hi, I'm Toine and welcome to my kitchen. If you're new to this channel, I focus on cooking foods from my home country, the Netherlands, and some of its former colonies such as Indonesia. From Sinterklaas's arrival in the Netherlands to the night of December 5th, children leave their shoes by the hearth each evening with a snack for his horse, a merry-go, and in return they might find chocolate coins, pepernoten, or even small toys in their shoes when they wake up. Looking to surprise your little ones this Sinterklaas season? Follow along to make this oud-Hollandse classic. I've streamlined the traditional recipe, which usually takes several days, into a quicker and simpler version. With my recipe, you'll have fresh pepernoten ready in just a few hours. Let's get started. To make pepernoten, you will need 115 grams of all-purpose flour, 100 grams of rye flour, 100 grams of honey, 50 grams of Friese keukenstroop. If you cannot find it, you can use dark corn syrup, or otherwise you can use a total of 150 grams of honey instead. 1 egg yolk, 12 grams of speculaaskruiden. I'll put a link to that recipe in the description below. 6 grams of anise powder, 3 grams of baking powder, and 1 gram of salt. The first thing we're going to do is sift together the all-purpose flour, the rye flour, and the baking powder. We're sifting this into the bowl of our stand mixer, and we're doing that to make sure there are no lumps in the flour, and that is what will help create a smooth and uniform dough. So if you're unfamiliar with Sinterklaas, he is a bishop that comes from Spain on a boat, and he rides a horse on the tops of the roofs, and the horse is called a merry-go. Always enjoyed that holiday when I was growing up, and pepernoten and kruidnoten were definitely my favorite treats whenever we had them. And on Pakjesavond, Sinterklaas, or one of his helpers, would kind of just throw candy into the room, and it would always take us kids by surprise, and we would be so excited. And oftentimes I would be banging on the door, but then when you opened the door, there was nobody there but a big canvas bag filled with gifts. Such fond memories. Rye flour is a little coarser than all-purpose flour, so that takes a little bit more effort to get it through the sieve. We're almost there. This last little bit I'm just tossing in because it doesn't make it through the sieve. And just stir this around a little bit, mix it all together. And I'm going to add this on my mixer. And then the next thing we're going to do, in a large measuring cup, I'm going to put the rest of the ingredients. I'm going to start with the honey. The old-fashioned recipe, which takes several days, actually is similar to making tai tai, which I posted already. So I'll put a link to that recipe in the description below as well. It involves boiling the honey, but we're not doing that today. The stroop, I love, like just a slice of bread, a little butter, and some keukenstroop, or on pancakes, so good. Okay, it's very sticky. Egg yolk, speculaaskruiden. Every winter I typically make a pretty big batch of that because I use it in so many recipes. Anise and salt. We're now going to mix this together until it is a homogeneous mixture and all the spices are incorporated into the liquid. It smells so good. I love anise. And then of course the other spices that are inside the speculaaskruiden. It makes such a good smell. Okay, I think I've got it. So now for this recipe, because it is a relatively tough dough, I'm going to use a dough hook. So attach that. Turn it on low And now I'm going to slowly add the liquids. I'm going to leave the mixer going, but I'm just going to scrape all the liquid to one end so it's easier to add it that last little bit. And using the spatula, I'm going to move some of the flour and some of the liquid that is stuck to the side of the bowl towards the center so it can get mixed in. I'm going to let the mixer knead this until it forms a ball. This is, however, a pretty dry and stiff dough, so if your mixer can't make it happen, you may have to help it a little bit and do that last bit of kneading by hand or add just like a little bit of water. So I'm going to turn it back on and I'll see you when the dough is finished. I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, click the like and subscribe button. It will really help our channel. And if you want YouTube to notify you whenever we post a new video, click the bell. So it is pretty dry here today. I've added 4 teaspoons of water to this, but the dough hook is just unable to knead it all together. So I'm going to turn this out on my counter and knead it by hand. It's kind of got the same feel as when you make pasta dough, but when you work it, it will start incorporating, and then once it sits in the fridge for a little while, it will actually become a nice dough. We're just going to incorporate all of the crumbles into this, and I can already feel that it is becoming more of kind of a normal dough, so that's good. So I fold it over each other and then with my palm push it away, give it a quarter turn, and just keep doing that. And make sure you bring all the dough pieces together. This is a good workout because it is pretty stiff dough. I just think that this workout is what makes it okay for me to eat some pepernoten later today. It is a sticky dough, that is normal, so don't worry about that. Make sure your counter is very clean when you do this. Once all the dry pieces are incorporated and it is looking like a nice smooth dough like this, it's time to wrap it in some plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for at least 2 hours. I have wrapped the dough in plastic wrap. And to make sure it is completely airtight, I'm putting it in a plastic baggie. I'm going to push out all the air. And this is going to go in the fridge for at least 2 hours. Now that the dough has rested for 2 hours in the fridge, it's time to shape the pepernoten. Let me go over some of the essentials. I have a really cool rolling pin here that has different size spacers so that you can make sure that you're rolling everything out at the even thickness. So here are 1 centimeter or 3/8 inch spacers on my rolling pin. I have a little shaker with flour that I will use to dust the rolling pin as well as the work surface with, a pizza cutter, even though we're not making pizza, offset spatula just in case, the dough of course, and a cookie sheet with some parchment paper on it. So first thing I'm going to do is lightly dust my workspace here. Now I'm going to unwrap the dough, put it here, just start pushing it down a little bit, just work it out. I'm going to dust the top with a little bit of flour as well. And I'm going to start rolling it. Again, it's going to take some elbow grease. I'm just looking for the dough to be an even thickness. The shape doesn't matter that much. And I think I have it. So here's my rolled out dough. I am now going to cut like strips out of it that are about 2 centimeters wide. This is not rocket science because you kind of want these to look a little rustic. I've also preheated my oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, non-convection. Now I'm going to use my, oops, this one is a little bit uneven, too uneven for my liking. And now I'm going to cut them into little squares that are about the size of a sugar cube. And as I cut them, I put them on my cookie sheet. I just cut 2 strips at once with my dough scraper. When you put them on the cutting sheet, when you put them on the cookie sheet, just make sure you leave a little space in between them. I'm just going to continue cutting the rest, and I'll see you when I'm done. As you can see, I have some scraps from cutting left over. It's pretty easy, just kind of squeeze it back together and turn it into a ball or a disc and give it a quick roll. And I'm just going to cut this one in a couple more Pepernoten and put them on the cookie sheet. All right, here are all my cut Pepernoten on my cookie sheet. They're not all the same size or shape, but that's perfectly fine. As you can see, it fits quite a few. I am going to put this in the oven and bake it for 10 to 13 minutes. I typically check it at the 7 to 8 minute mark to see if it's baking evenly and, if necessary, rotate the cookie sheet. Okay, let me go put this in the oven. Okay, the Pepernoten have baked in the oven for 13 minutes total. I'm just gonna let them cool off on a rack, and then it will be time to taste them. The Pepernoten are all cooled off, so I can actually give one a try. Eet Smakelijk. These Pepernoten have just the right combination of chewiness and warmth from the speculaaskruiden and the anise. You can taste that honey, and it reminds me of Sinterklaasavond with my family on a cold December night. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to share it with your friends. If you have any questions or memories about Sinterklaas or Pepernoten, please post them in the comments below. You can find the written recipe on my website, toineskitchen.com, with both imperial and metric measurements, and you can follow me on social media as well. If you make my Pepernoten recipe, I would love it if you would take a picture and post it on Instagram with the hashtag ToinesKitchen. I'll feature it in my story and on my website. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy Sinterklaas!